The difference between change and transformation. What we have over here is the traditional project management life cycle. For those people who have worked on projects, you would know that there is a project management life cycle, and as we start up the project, there's an increase in effort over time, and as we finish up the project, there's a decrease in effort over time. That's the hard change that's taking place. This is implementing the system, scrubbing the data, or building the house that you need to do. However, there's also a transformation taking place. And what I'm talking about over here is the people transformation. So imagine you working at a company and they are implementing a brand new CRM. And previously, your company had a whole bunch of manual processes. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to start going through moments of truth. You're going to say, what's happening over here? They're implementing a new system. And am I going to lose my job? What am I going to do? And normally, along with a hard change, there will be components of that project that the implementers will build in to cater for the transformation that people are going through. Whether people's jobs are going to be lost due to retrenchment, there might be some sensitivity interventions along this road until they reach the other side, in other words, the end of the project. There might be some training for those people who need training on the new CRM, as well as there might be natural transition, because as people go through this soft phase of transitioning along with the actual physical changes of the project, they are saying, this is not for me. I want to dip out and I'm going to resign. And some people, they just come out of the system. So there are going to be many moments of truth. And it's very important not to just implement the hard change. Many times companies will implement the system and forget the people transformation component totally, leaving a lot of people dismayed, a lot of attrition, and also people jumping ship because they've got better offers outside. So this area that the company needs to concentrate on is very important. One of the interventions that might happen in here is training. Not only training on the new CRM system, because as you implement a best practice project management system, people might wonder, what is project management all about? Maybe I've never even undergone or formally gone through a professional project management training. And in order to get everybody aligned to the methodology, you might have a bunch of training exercises every year to bring people up to speed with regards to the project management framework or the system or the methodology that you're going to be introducing. As you scale up over here during this phase, which is called the planning phase, what you will find is that the execution phase will be much easier. If you neglect to introduce these aligned trainings and interventions, what will normally happen is something like this. You spend little time, little money on this, and the amount of time, effort, interventions, and planning that you don't cater for the transformation component, you will pay on the execution time with regards to overruns, or maybe wastage, or maybe people disillusioned and dipping out of the system. All of these scenarios, these assumptions, these potential issues and risks need to be catered for in the planning. If there's an assumption that people are not going to buy into the brand new CRM, then what you might want to do is institute some communication measure. In other words, sensitization, introducing the benefits of the CRM. Remember, things might look like they are negative, but if you define it properly in a risk management framework, you can turn that from a negative into a positive. So some of the interventions, will I be losing my job? How will we be able to define success? We can define that in quality management. We can identify what does the definition of done mean. In other words, what are the success criteria that we will be viewing at the end of the project? In order to improve and make sure that people transform properly and adapt to the new implementation of the CRM, we might want to introduce some training. Now, training is going to cost, but it's also going to cost you if you don't plan that in. So these are all the considerations that the planning team needs to do in this phase, which is the planning phase. And if you do that and you plan it properly, you will have a much more success ratio in the execution phase. They say that between 60 to 70% of the project is already delivered successfully if you plan correctly. And I'm not talking about the hard change. I'm also talking about making sure that you get people to come down the road with you. You know, people who are very susceptible or they're open to change, managers, senior managers, they get the vision. They're standing over here on the edge of this cliff and they see the big valley and they need to get onto this side. The manager can jump quickly in their mind from year to year. But if you're looking at 1,000 staff members or 500 staff members or 2,000 staff members, each of them have to go their own transition at their own pace. And the thing about planning is that if you align the people with the intervention, you can get people going over at a much quicker rate and not going through these moments of truth and despair, and seeing the success of the project and join you on that road.